to uh, I've started the recording now. So how do things are happening in the uh, AI space? Inderdeep, why don't you again, give a round introduction? But probably I just want to give a quick
Yep.
round for you.
No,
Over,
no,
please.
thank you. Thank you, Ankur. I will first and foremost thank you to include me into this session. I've seen the last two sessions of Himanshu and Gaurav. So I realized I know most of you guys, but we'll do a quick introduction of each other. But before that, I'll just introduce myself. Inderdeep Singh, as he mentioned, I'm part of the shared service structure for almost, I would say, 20-25 years. It's been almost 25 years that I'm a chartered accountant, BCom from Delhi, and I did my articleship from here, Ferguson Company. And then in the beginning phases, Big Fours, and then I moved to the banking sector for almost 10 to 15 years, where I was with HSBC and Credit Suisse, where I was part of the shared service structure, more of a performer. And then I started leading the shared service processes. And I was taking care of KPMG, you know, uh, in-house process of shared services, which was there. Then moved to Semantic, their shared services. Now that Semantic brand has changed. It's a typical cybersecurity company, tech company, which is based out from um, West Coast of US and sorry, West Coast of US, and that name has been changing from Semantic to Norton to now it's called Gen. So I'll talk about the company in more detail, but broadly, all in all, I have been involved in controllership roles, my record to report roles. I've been part of the operations role where I've taken care of procure to pay and order to cash roles, finance transformation. Outsourcing is my forte, which I've been working, and that's what I'm involved in. So if you ask me why am I standing here, because of shared services. Now, typically, we all know shared service has been considered as a cost center, and there are reasons why it's been considered a cost center. But it's time with the AI coming into picture. I feel that it's a strategic enabler. This is actually an opportunity for a lot of shared services which are right now operating, or GCCs which are operating. We'll talk about in more detail, which are operating, where I think I see as an opportunity to showcase that we can build a lot of AI elements, agents, processes, and that can help in building. So that I see as more like an enabler. We'll talk about it in more detail. Um, as I said, in Gen, this company, uh, I hear the AI is not considered as an experiment. We actually want to implement that. We implement that into production. We have already done that. Um, Ankur, admitting even Harsh. Do you want to include him? I
Yeah,
can
yeah,
see.
please. You're a co-host. You can do it.
Sorry, I'm just getting that prompt, so I thought I can just include you guys.
No, no,
So
please,
this is
please.
briefly about myself. Um, I thought I can just quickly. I know most of you guys. But if you can quickly give me an update on what you guys do. Anybody is from the shared services? I know most of you guys are the CFOs, but I just wanted to understand anybody who's into the shared services or also involved in the shared services that can help me.
Yeah, so this is Mohit. I am into a BT Group, which is into shared services in India and Gurgaon. So I'm into finance team, business partnering team.
Perfect. Great, Mohit. Thank you.
We
Ankur,
started.
do you think we should have a quick kind of introduction of each of
Yeah,
us
yeah.
before I jump
I
to my
think yes,
company?
everyone. Yeah, yeah. I think we normally do a quick round. So anyone can start. No hesitation. Anyone
Uh,
can start.
I can start if that's okay.
Yeah, Harsh.
Hi, this is Harsh Lat. I work with the IAG and I take care of the recipe program. I'm based in London.
Hi, Ash.
Hi. Actually, so I have worked for a good part on my working years in shared services. So I was in Genpact for I think 5 or 6 years, and then I was with BT. here, but I mean, I was not in shared services, but I used to work a lot with shared services. So have seen shared services from both from a customer perspective as well as a person who is working in there.
So right now you're not part of the shared service, but you understand how the shared service operates. Great,
Yes.
thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, quickly. Let's start with Pramodji.
Sir, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Inderdeep. So I work in BFSI sector, specifically in asset reconstruction company. You know, we manage stress assets for the banking and NBFC sectors. So I'm CFO in a company called RSIL, asset reconstruction company. So shared services we have not, but since we are increasing volumes, especially in the retail space, and we have reached to a few million borrowers already, and so eventually we'll be moving in that space, you know, especially for third-party services, etc. So very keen to look forward for this session. Thank you.
Thank you, Pramodji. Let's go ahead, Mukesh, if you have Ankur.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Mulesh. I'm a chartered accountant and I am Calcutta alumni. I'm working in a US-based private equity firm, Basis Vectors. I'm working there as a group financial controller, where I'm managing the finance function for portfolio companies in US and one entity in India. In my previous organization, previous companies, I worked with Mercer, where my part of the duration was there in GCC, where I was managing the GCC of 5-6 entities, all are majorly based in India.
Great, thank you.
We have
Ankur?
Shikha, Alok, anyone?
Hey, hi. This is Alok here. So I am part of, actually, I'm currently working with the OEM. So I'm working with SAP. And so I work with different industries, especially with BFSI, auto, and a lot of different industry. And I typically, my charter is to provide the solutions for the SAP for the office of CFOs. So there are a lot of solutions on the CFO side where I go ahead and provide that. And but before that, I was like working with Oracle. So I understand they're also in mostly with the BFSI sector with a lot of the CFOs. So I've been part of the OEM journey there. It's really great to hear.
Thank you, Alok. Thank you.
Ankur?
Hi, Inderdeep, and everyone. I'm Ankur Jain, chartered accountant, working with NDM Advisors as partner for assurance services. I've worked with KPMG in the past, so I understand KGS and shared services model very well. I worked with KPMG UK, so I was also utilizing KGS services for good number of years.
Yeah, great. You understand that shared service model of KPMG and KGS. Good to know about that. Great, welcome.
Thank you.
Nimit, maybe.
Hi, Nimit Arora. Currently, I'm working with the old data centers, setting up a DCS business in India. As a client, as a support, I also interact with the FSSC. In past, I worked with the BT, so understand the GCC model and the shared services.
Thanks, Amit. Shikha, Harish, if
I'm
you can
not sure
quickly-
Shikha is right now listening or not.
Okay.
Because
Perfect.
we should start. Yeah.
Okay, we can get started. Hey,
Yeah,
so good.
please.
Thank you very much for the brief introduction. I think this 1.5 hour session is we're going to make it very interactive. So I just going to share my agenda. I'm going to talk about my company and the topics which are there. So I have figured out certain topics. I was thinking, what should I come out with? What are the new things or emerging things which I can bring? So I've got some topics. I think this is going to be interesting topics. We're going to discuss that, and it'll be interactive. I just wanted to mention one more thing here. I am not the person who is building AIs. I'm not the person who is an IT guy, to be honest with you. I am more like a person who is a strategic leader. Let's be honest with you. It's been very clear with the organization, it's an IT company, that we are an AI first company. What does it mean? That means we want to implement the AI imbibe the AI into our ecosystem. That's been there. With that objective in mind, we are trying to build various elements, and we are doing that. I'm going to share that part from my point of view. I am basically leading a shared services for a mid-size organization. So I think it's going to be it's an interesting journey which we are right now. It's a journey which is right now taking place. We are still in the middle. I don't know. AI is still we don't know about what's going to be the final stage, but definitely AI is there and we have to accept it. And I think there are a lot of positive elements which we have to accept from the AI. That's for sure. So let's dig into each and every piece one by one. So let me share my slides here. Okay. Can you see my screen?
It's coming up. Now we can see the screen.
Yeah, perfect. Good. So these are the topics which I have defined for today's session. I'm going to talk about Gen, my company, briefly, so that at least that gives you some sort of an idea, because the entire topic base which I have defined is somewhat directly and indirectly aligned with the company. Now, I'm not sharing the numbers and details, but it is somehow linked with that model which we have built. So I'm going to talk about my company. The topics which I'm trying to cover here is the traditional fair finance shared service model. How does it look like? And what it promises? I'm talking about the traditional approach. And then when we move towards the next model, which is called AI first finance shared services, where we try to focus and bring the AI element into the ecosystem, what changes we are going to bring by way of AI agents, So AI agents are coming and they are replacing a lot of work which has been performed by the humans. What is going to be the impact of that in our teams? I'm going to talk about that. Third part is going to be our challenges in transitioning. So obviously, traditional shared services, AI-first shared services, there are a lot of challenges. So we're going to talk about those challenges in detail. And I think this is going to be interesting. The fourth topic and fifth topic is somehow interrelated with each other, but I've tried to divide that in two parts. One is called build versus buy. Now, you guys must have been already aware of this model that we have got these tools by the name called Copilot, ChatGPT, Claude, and these things are there. But there is another element which is called embedded AI. Embedded AIs are all coming with the tools which we are buying, Blackline, Oracle, ServiceNow. They are also bringing their AIs and embedding that on their tools itself. So what is the difference between build and buy? Should we build ourselves or should we buy? I think that's where this entire discussion is right now taking place. As we are spending a lot of money on these AIs, definitely this cost is going to increase over a period of time. So the discussion has started on the build and buy model. So we're going to talk briefly on that model. There's no final conclusion which is reached right now, but discussion is all started in this line. Then comes the AI native execution platform was built. This is somewhat similar to that. AI natives are the same embedded platforms which we have right now. So let me jump to the next slide. Okay. About this company. So Gen Digital, as I mentioned, is actually old erstwhile. We call it as Semantic. We guys have heard about this company by the name called Semantic. Norton, old timers know about this Norton brand, which was very much prevalent in India. Now it is not there because we have moved out and this brand is outside. We're not investing too much in India. So this is nothing but a Semantic old company, which is now called as Gen because we have, shaped that company. We have that enterprise business have been sold to Broadcom, and this is more consumer-based company now. We are the world's largest consumer cybersecurity company. We are listed right now in US. There are almost 500 million users of this company. with 150 countries in which we operate. So it's a big size of operations we have. We're not that big from the turnover standpoint. We are 5 billion still, from that point of view, turnover which we have. We have an asset base of almost 16 billion, which is there. And we are cash rich because we generate a lot of cash from the engine which we created. This is like almost 1.5 to 2 billion dollars is form of cash flow we generate. And we are rich from the cash. And what we are doing is started acquiring companies. We have started following an inorganic growth of building, because it's very difficult to do organic growth in this model. So we have started, acquiring companies in an inorganic manner, and acquisition and merger and acquisition is part and parcel of our business right now. As I said, typically we have got two verticals right now we have created. One is called cyber security, which is cyber safety, where we have brands like Norton, Avast, AVG, Avira, CCs. These are the brands which we have. You must have heard these names. So these are more prevalent in Europe, Asia Pacific, another part, and in US. Not in India subcontinent, because from some strategic reasons they are not promoting these kind of brands in India. They get more profitability outside, and these brands are outside from that point of view. We have started going into another vertical, which is called fintech products. So we have, last year, 2025, we started acquiring some fintech companies, and we acquired this company by the name called Moneyline for 1 billion. And we had already a product called LifeLock. So these brands, which are like Moneyline, is typically like a fintech company, where, if you must have heard, Money Control also here, something similar, where we give finances to the amount of $25. So we give advances to Moneyline, gives advances to people who want take an advance for $25 to $100 to $150, and then we get interest, tips, and fees from there. And there are millions and millions of transactions which happens, and that business is growing almost at the speed of 20 to 25%. And there, the volumes are
Sir, I'm sorry. Can you kindly make it fully screen, because some of the fonts are not very clearly visible.
Sorry, I just make
Thank you. Thank you.
That makes sense. Can you see it? Okay. Okay, Pramod, thank you. So we're just talking about money control, which is there in India. We have got various other money advance companies which are there in India. This Moneyline has been acquired. So typically we have two verticals which we call it as. We call it as wellness, financial wellness, or fintech. Another is called cyber security, security wellness. So we call it as security wellness and finance wellness. And these are the two different verticals where we have different brands, as you can see. And that's the focus area we have right now. You guys have any questions on that? I can answer it. But otherwise, broadly, it's a cybersecurity company which is also expanding itself into different verticals, because somehow we want to gain more, turnover. To be honest with you, we're not able to grow mainly in cybersecurity business because it's quite saturated, whereas fintech market is growing at a very fast pace. Fintech technology is moving at a very fast pace. So we have dived down ourselves into these products, and these brands like LifeLock, Moneyline, Reputation Defender. These are the companies we started acquiring for $1 billion, $500 million. And these are more like a startup companies, bigger than startup companies. And we acquire them and we now scale them. That's what we're doing, investing on their software, tools, and applications.
Inderdeep, just two questions. Hello, you want to ask something?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Just two things on this. Just curiosity that being an IT digital company, still you're carrying asset of $16 billion roughly. So is it something more of IT assets? These are like something else. I'm missing something, because $60 billion of assets is a very, very huge assets for an IT company.
You're talking about
assets,
60
total
billion.
assets. Yeah, 16
total assets.
16.6. Yeah. Is it like more
15.6 billion is the total assets we are talking about, correct?
when you say asset, these are not figures, sir. These can be anything. All the
This
balance
can be
asset side of it. Okay.
assets.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
not from
and
it.
when
So,
sorry.
so be honest with you, Ankur, we have started, there is a debt element also, asset and liabilities, both element which is
Ah,
there.
understood.
So, we have, as you know, we acquired this company called Avas. I don't know whether you're aware or not. This was a 9 billion turnover company we acquired. So there is huge amount of debt which we also carry. So this is basically grossed the amount of asset base which we have.
Right. Well, and you mentioned one thing, a business model, Money Lion, wherein you pay a credit of $150 only. Like there is typically a business case wherein you pay consumer $150 credit, $150 credit. That's something I
Yeah.
heard correctly. That's
Yes.
something prevalent in US because something is very, found it little weird in my view that $150 people take credit and they keep on paying. Is it a big business in US? Like, or,
It's true.
I don't
It's
know.
true. It's true. What we see here is very different, Ankur. Um, the country, the US also, we all know they live on credit. Actually live on credit and credit movements which are there. So we have realized that, and this is nothing but advance against their salaries, to be honest with you. This model is a very new model, which has been picked up in last 5 to 10 years. What has happened here is a lot of people need cash, immediate cash, instant cash. Instant cash is like this is called IC. We have got these two products called IC and CB Plus. IC is called instant cash. Instant cash means you can open your phone, go into the app, ask, give your details, ask for $150. They will do a credit check, go back and give you immediately, and they say your worth is almost 110, not even 115, or maybe 75 or 85, and you will get an immediate credit and cash in your account, and then you can go and spend that money. And within a week's time, because all the details are there in the system, it can take the money back from you. While you are accepting that as an advance, you have to agree on the interest portion, which is not there, which is called tips, which is called fees. Typically, it's called fees and tips and fees, which is where the income is generated. It's a very fast moving transaction which happens, and there are millions and millions of transactions. It's a volume game, and we actually sell these loans to third party also on the same day. You'll be amazed that on the same day we sell these loans to a third party and we get the money back. So there's a small difference in the interest where we play with that. Technically, we're an IT company. It's something like we're not a finance company. It's an IT company, and that technology plays a critical role. It's like Uber. Uber does not own a single car, but they still make a lot of money because of the technology. This is the
Got it.
technology because of which we are doing it.
Got it. Great. Anyone has any other question on this slide? As I think yeah.
Yeah, I was asking a question. Inderdeep, being a cybersecurity company, I'm just curious. AI would have made it a bit more challenging, right, to keep everyone secure. So, if you have any anecdotes or anything you can share about that, I'm just curious how AI is making changing life of cybersecurity companies.
So, Harsh, cybersecurity is actually right now given by everyone, to be honest with you. Microsoft is also giving you a cybersecurity free of cost. You got a
Yeah.
lot of free of cost tools which are available in the market. Then why are we basically going for a Norton or Avast or Avira? This is because of a lot of changes which are happening in the market. So we are upgrading ourselves from the point of view of various elements, VPNs, and from the point of view of various upgrades which happen on a regular basis. As simple as that. But are we growing? Answer is no, because the market is saturated, Harsh. Let's be honest with you. I don't want to say that our growth is almost like 2 to 3%, not growing at a very fast pace. And this is one of the big reasons we are moving ourselves to a finance wellness. And that one of the big reason is we're hedging a risk in that way. Because somewhere down the line, we realize that cybersecurity is not going to grow in that fashion as we have done it. But on the other hand, the other tech features are growing. And we are trying to blend both of them together. Number one. Number two, is also one of the very important element we have to understand is, Harsh, as you mentioned, we are also bringing the AI element, embedded AI, in our cybersecurity. I am not an expert on that. I cannot comment on that right now, but that AI features are also coming up in our tools which are there. Norton has its own brand of AI which is going to work and support. Similarly, Avast, Avira, they're also going to have AI elements which are going to be built. That's called embedded AIs, which is going to help these tools to grow. But again, these these are again a saturated business which is there in the market.
Thanks.
Okay, good. Then let's come to the next slide, which is on a topic, but broadly, I can only say the complexities which are right now in AI adoption is one of the big, complexities which are right now in the business itself, which we have, because we have started acquiring a lot of companies, and these companies come with a lot of cost and complexities of different applications which are there. The AI plays a very critical role at this point in time. So that's the reason for the shared services, AI is very important for us. So let me just come to my next slide. Let me just jump to the next slide. Okay. Okay. Broadly, these are the brands which we have, as I mentioned. Let me jump to the next. I've already discussed that. The traditional financial services, what it looks like and what it promises. Okay. So I just want to make this entire session very interactive, guys. So if you want to have any questions, please ask me and we can make it very interactive. So the first topic is on the traditional shared service and financial services. So typically, a finance shared services is nothing but a centralized system in which we have repeated and standardized processes. Broadly, that's what the reason we have created. We always think about shared services. Why was shared services created? Because these processes were fragmented in different locations. So they thought, why can't they put them all together in one location itself? One single location performing all the tasks together, which are repeatable and can be standardized, and where we are, focus on repeatable, and then the judgment can be made on that basis. So that's the reason why shared services came into picture. The traditional shared service center will be always a transactional and semi-transactional basis. Governance somehow gets split. We get people sitting in different other location, but at the end of the day, the processes are all centralized together. It's a hub and spoke model. If you guys understand, hub is the central model and spokes are different functions which are sitting together. So broadly in Gen, or for that matter, any other company, with the shared services is broadly that in tradition, the processes can be divided into two towers or two categories. One is called operational tower. Another is called finance and accounting tower in general, where we have all other processes. Operational elements are like accounts payable, account receivable, ARCC collections, payroll, cash disbursement. They're volume based. There are a lot of volume based models which are there. We guys are aware of it. And then we have other accounting and finance towers, which are typically month-end close, accrual, fixed assets, prepaid, SEC reporting, consolidation, intercompany revenue accounting. So these are little complex processes where we have more judgment requirement, which is there. So that's which is called as finance and accounting tower. Operational towers are more repeatable tower. Processes are in a repeatable form, and that can be more transactional, where we have a lot of people sitting and punching the numbers and details into it. Accounts payable, account receivable. We can all relate with that. So these are the two towers we have. Now, in Gen we have Oracle R12. R12 is not in Fusion. It's an on-prem model which we have. And at this point in time, broadly, we have 5 tools, AI tools, which we operate with, 5 to 6. We have been always buying. I don't know why, but they're spending huge amount of money on these tools and applications. We have this Copilot, ChatGPT, Claude, Studio. You think about it, and we get all these enterprise versions which we have it with us. Now, some of these tools are connected with the Oracle database. some of the tools are still in the process of connecting. Security plays a very critical role. As we are a listed company, so security is very critical. So we may make sure that the connectivity with the systems are taken place with proper caution. I'll just pause here and see if the guys have any questions around this.
So basically, we are saying that this 80 people that we are talking about, right, is mostly R2R.
No, in total. So this company, typically, my company has 80 people. So approximately an operational tower, there'll be, I would say 50%. There'll be little less than 30, 50%, 30, 35 people or 40 people. And then rest of them will be in accounting and finance towers, which are there. Properly split into two parts. So in total, we have 140 people in our company in the finance structure, including tax. Almost 50% sits in India. And that's where I'm talking about 80% people are there into the shared services, where we have contract staff also and permanent staff also. I'm talking about this company, which I'm operating.
And you have nothing outsourced to anyone, like typically
No.
some part of work can be further subcontracted. That has not been done.
No. So we have not done anything. Ankur, on that part. We are doing it all in-house. As I said very clearly, we focus on building our own tools and applications. We try to use technology to the highest level. If you ask me, there are only 9 people in AP, only 9 people, which are almost doing a cost of 3.9 or 3.5 billion cost, which is, accounts payable process which you're doing. So you can understand 9 people sitting in India, processing the invoices across US for almost 3.5 billion worth of transactions.
But in a volume, in the like typically these are high value invoices because
They are both high and low volume both. There are
So maybe-
almost, I would say 4,000 invoices which are processed on a weekly basis. That's the volume we are talking about.
you're saying for 48,000 invoices annually, you have a team of 9 people.
Not 4,000 invoices, 4,000 weekly.
No, I'm saying annually, say, okay, 20, 50, 40. I'm just saying 4,000. Maybe, I'm just 52 weeks are there. So for 4,000 a week. So typically in a month, you may have maybe 15,000 invoices. I'm just saying
Yeah,
that way.
more than that or less than that, around that. Yeah.
I'm saying, and maybe annually it become almost close to 1.8 lakhs invoices. I'm just trying to understand for a volume of more than a lakh invoices in a year, you are having a team of 9 people only.
Yes.
Okay.
So you can understand how we have automated the processes. So to be honest with you, Ankur, the volumes can be a little higher because we have a very mixed bag when it comes to accounts payable. We have been using different models when it comes to processing the invoices. We have a model of individual invoices which come into picture. We have a bulk upload, like telecom invoices are very small invoices we are talking about. These invoices come in a bulk format. We use a bulk upload model, which are directly integrated also into the system. So we have multiple ways in which we have processing these invoices. What I'm trying to explain here is we have used the technology to a great extent, but ultimately what we have realized here is we have almost like 6-7 approach in which we process the invoices at this point in time. Well, is it good? The answer is yes. It is working very well with us. But is it an effective model for a future? Answer is no. Because if we are acquiring companies and we are building more and bringing more invoice structure into the process, do you think these 5-6 models which we have, as I said, bulk upload or MPR, or which is called manual processing of certain high value, and then we have direct integration which happens, is it the right approach? Answer is no. We both have both PO based invoices and non-PO based invoices. 60% of the volumes are PO based, 40% are non-PO based. Still, there is a lot of manual intervention which still happens. Now, there are a lot of invoices which go directly intervene, it goes inside the system, but then we have a lot of manual intervention which still happens. Now, with AI coming into picture, we are seeing, can we centralize this all model together in one way? We are actually evaluating that process. Now, in that, we are also looking at embedded AI. We have a tool by the name called Canvas, which is an OCR tool. I don't know if you guys are aware of this OCR technology. So we have this OCR technology, which we have for which we have got this tool by the name called Canvas, which interfaces with the Oracle. Yeah. So what this means here is all the invoices are coming in. They are going through an OCR structure, auto reading. 60-70% volumes goes inside. 30-40% of the invoices fail on certain criteria. Human in loop come into picture. They fix it, goes into the Oracle, processes, move inside the process system. Now, can that 30-40% can be fixed? Answer is it's not fixed, but we can use AI into picture. Yes, AI is coming out in a big way, where either the vendor is going to give me a solution embedding into their system, or we are going to build it ourselves. If we are going to build it ourselves, we might not, we might not pay that amount to that vendor. We might build it ourselves. There's still discussion is happening on that part. But bottom line here is the AI element plays a very critical role. OCR technology is an old technology. Now we are actually evaluating where AI can also can be used for the purpose of recognizing the details from invoices. But then the token cost is very high. We have to understand if the token cost is going to be higher, we may not even go for AI. In that case, we might go for a OCR. So that kind of discussion is still happening as we are moving ahead.
Any
That makes
specific
sense?
example? Any example, like you talked about that for 70% you're able to do 30%, you are planning to use AI. Any example you can talk through wherein you are able to leverage AI for that 30%? Any one example if you have in mind, something you have done?
Yeah, I mean, I can quickly talk about, I can share my screen also where I
Because
can
that is interesting, because if that is a 30% you're able to bring efficiency, I think that's a lot of problem, because that 30%, I think in most industries, something always remain in the OCR.
Okay, if you can see my screen, can you see? This is the latest stuff which my team has built, so I just wanted to show it to you. This we have already, we are trying to bring it in the case of query management also. This is something we are working on the query management, but this is where this is an AI tool. Yeah, if you see, this is a Canvas is a tool where OCR tool is there. It used to interface directly with Oracle. We are trying to bring the Glean agent. Glean agent is sitting somewhere in the middle of these two tools. And then what it does here is previously it was directly interfacing with Oracle. We are going to put this agent somewhere in the middle, which still in the works. We are still not finalized it, but this is what it's going to do here is right now, I'll give you an example here. Canvas basically reads a lot of invoice data. So it reads the PO number, it reads the invoice number, it reads the various other elements relating to amounts and contract details, whatever. It also reads the bank, but it does not matches the bank details with the PO detail. Okay. So it used to fail a lot. So every time the failure, we realized that there was a lot of data which used to get failed, where the bank details which are mentioned in the invoice were not matching with the bank details which are there in the PO or the master data which is there in the system. Not even the PO, but the master data in the system. We realized that the AI is doing a better job than OCR. So what we did was we created an agent where what it was doing was it was picking up the invoice number from the invoice and bank details, and also picking up the bank details from the master data, which is nothing with the PO details, and then comparing it and saying the number is same. If it's same, it used to pass. If it fails, it again goes to the human loop. He has to take a decision. At this point in time, we were doing it manually. With the AI Glean agent coming to picture, we have almost realized 90% accuracy level, which is happening. So what it means here is our failures have reduced. So this is moving fast into the Oracle e-suite. That makes sense?
I think I'm a little confused on this. But I understand that while if there is an invoice, invoice will go through the OCR, OCR will read it. Parallelly, Glean will also read the invoice details for bank details. Parallelly, it will tell you whether it makes sense or not. Or is it two separate? Because what I'm thinking, same thing, OCR can also tell you whether the bank details are matching or not. So how do Glean is different from what OCR is doing? Is it a duplicate? I'm missing something. Is it stepwise? There is a. I'm not
See,
able to.
So OCR is
Ankur,
a
I
OCR is
mean,
a old
sorry,
OCR is a
let
old
me
tech. Sorry, go
let me
ahead.
Hello,
pitch in. So yeah, being coming from
hello.
a OEM,
I was just expecting you should say. No.
yeah, coming from both Oracle and the SAP world, I can help you out. See,
Yeah.
OCRs typically in Oracle sense, typically OCRs are just to extract the information from that invoice PDF which is coming. It has nothing more beyond that. It is just like a OCR reading, nothing more beyond that. And it will just dump that information into the tables.
Right.
But then with this Glen AI agent, what they are doing is then you are running the validations on top of it before you put a proper record into the system.
Okay. Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Hello.
Now I'm clear.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
So
Thank you.
OCR is optical character recognizer, as simple as
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Ankur.
I think
Now,
now I'm clear with the process.
but
I
the
was not able
problem
to
here,
understand. Hanji,
correct.
that was me,
So,
please.
but it's an old technology, to be honest with you, Ankur. What it
Yes.
does here is it never used to pick up the correct characters. It used to have some sort of an error. It used to always have that. We accepted that. Okay. But because of which the passing percentage was almost like 46, 40, 60 or 60, 50 kind of passing percentage was always there. With AI coming into picture, accuracy level has increased to a higher level. Now, what we are doing is we are trying to create those agents after the OCRs, not the OCR. After the converse has done its job, the agents are going to do the job. And then agents are going to tell whether this is going in or not. That testing is still happening, Ankur. The agents, we are building those agents. And that's where these agents play a critical role going forward in replacing humans. Now, whether these humans will be 100% replaced, answer is no. I know a lot of misconception is there that by creating these agents, are we going to eliminate humans? Answer is no, because these humans will typically play a very critical role in auditing later on the data, which is going to be then processed. See, payments are very critical, Ankur. We cannot process this data and process data into Oracle and close it. Human will always play a very critical role in this case. Yeah. So companies have still not taken decisions. We have not taken decisions that we're going to eliminate these resources, but definitely it is a piece which is coming and we cannot ignore it.
I think this is, if you ask me, for me, I have been aware of OCR, and typically OCR, whenever, Alok has been, selling solutions on Oracle, and I've met a couple of people, always say accuracy 60, 70 or 80% maximum they talk about. So probably when you talk about AI, irrespective of Glean or anything, I think one thing is coming very clearly. You are trying to find an add-on solutions, bring better efficiency and reduce human intervention. I think that's what is there. Human will remain. That's a very different discussion. Maybe the element of human value will change, but I think it's interesting to see how it is evolving, because I'm not aware of this piece. So for me, it's a something new to know. Nimit, you want to say something? Yeah, yeah, Nimit.
Yeah, I just want to check that. Yeah, I understand that's quite interesting. But while AI is coming to play and being a Gen as a security company as well, that's cybersecurity and all. So how you are considering that from the data security point of view, because that where the data leakage or any issue?
So security is one of the big reasons. SOX, security clearances are one of the big reasons where we are going a little slow. Let's be honest with you. We do not. So all these AI agents which we are creating have to go into a clearance from the internal security teams which we have created also. So while we are building the AI agents, also the functional teams are working on that part. We have another team from internal audit and security teams, which are also making sure that we are not bypassing the security models which are there. In other words, I'll give you a small example here. So we have built a tool whereby a queries, we have typically in AP, Ankur, we are aware of this thing that we have this questions which we ask from the AP team all the time. What is the status of my PO? What is the status of my invoice? Where is this? Where when is going to be invoice paid? Where is my PO? Is my PO open or closed? So these kind of questions are there. So these questions used to come through a email or by raising a ticket. That ticket used to go to somebody. Somebody will open that, go into the system, into Oracle or ERP system, fetch the data, and put that into a meaningful form. Give it to you back. You will receive it. This entire process was now we have cut short and we have built that agent in that way. So we are building an agent where what we are doing here is all these kind of things like problem statement, PO status, PO balance. What we are doing here is we build the AI agent in that case. So what we've done here is in the Glean itself, you can ask all these questions. It is connected directly into the Oracle database and giving us you an answer. Now the question comes here is, in that case, can everybody go inside? Answer is no. Answer is whosoever has got an excess of their own POs for their own invoices, for their own approvals, can do it. If somebody else who doesn't have an excess on that PO will not do it, but if he or she is an approver, higher authority of approving these POs and invoices, can definitely go inside and fetch the data. So that kind of controls and securities have been inbuilt while we are building that AIs. That makes sense? Ankur, you have a question.
Just one thing, since you talk about AI being embedded in the software itself, is it Oracle, and I think Alok can add in because he's coming from OEM, that the OEMs typically not embedding all these AI solutions now in their software itself, because as an organization we are paying a lot of fees to the software. So isn't it coming as an embedded solution? Is it still we have to
You have to
add
pay the
on AI?
cost. Ankur,
So
you have to pay the cost for that.
I
Yeah,
think
Alok.
see,
Yeah.
I will just clarify, knowing
Yeah.
coming from that Oracle. See, since I think in the Inderjeet, I mean, you are running on an on-premise solution. Okay, so
Yeah.
obviously he has to pay because these on-premise related solutions, these old solutions of Oracle e-business or ECC in SAP, they are not like equipped with this. But when it comes to cloud solutions, which are provided by Oracle on a Fusion or NetSuite or SAP Rise or SAP Grow, there it is coming as embedded. So there they are able to embed within that layer, within the software. And for Oracle, it is the AI agents that you will find there. And in SAP, you'll find Joule, which is coming. So Joule is there. Joule.
Okay.
Yeah. So now SAP has come with like autonomous panels, but that is using the Joule layer where you can then ask the queries like what the problem statement or routine queries that what Indrajit has shown. All those you are able to get these. And they're coming with a predefined. Some are embedded already, and there are many of them which are in the roadmap. But in case if the business wants something more beyond what is being provided, then you have a capability to create your own agent as per your requirement.
Understood. I think clear. I think very interesting.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Look, you're bang on. And I mentioned to you about this in the beginning, Ankur. We have an R12. It's an on-prem model. On-prem model is not a cloud-based model. It's a very old technology. We've got that technology, is still there. We're not spending money now on going to on cloud. But with that, we are building our own agents. These are all external agents which we are building. They are not inside. But embedded AIs can also come in for various other things. But what I'm trying to say here is these AI models are also coming and replacing the work which we were doing traditionally by giving all these things manually. So these pieces are going away. The moot point is that.
What is happening, and just a thought, while hearing you and Alok, that probably even you have an old ERP. I'm not going into why we have an old new, but this putting up an AI layer, even on the on-premise or any software using, it just enhance the user capability of the existing system also. Because maybe you don't have to buy a new software, but you're adding on AI. So you get get a better efficiency or leverage of that existing ERP. That's something I can sense from when you're talking, because you're trying to bring a lot of new things while adding AI to your existing ERPs.
But Ankur, the only thing is that here, when you are developing, because see, the core product itself doesn't have the capability. So obviously, you will go outside and then build that AI. That's what they've done. Only thing is, then you have to take care of a lot of these aspects. The question which came about the security layer in terms of who can access and who can view the PO information, everything you have to then build. If it is embedded, then the OEMs itself are providing with that security layer embedded with the data access and the information access within that. So, like if
No.
you are using a Joule within that SAP RISE or with the Grow, whatever are the security rules already defined within that ERP system for you to access will by default will be there. You don't have to build from external. That is the major difference that you will see.
Understood. Thank you. Understood. Okay. Well, yeah,
So,
Inderdeep, over to you back.
Ankur, if we get some time, we will actually go into that model which I'm talking about, build versus buy.
Yeah.
Where I think you will understand in more detail, because this is a very important discussion which is coming, is why do you want to build and why do you want to buy these things? So we'll talk about that in more detail, but good questions, probably. Let me just jump quickly to the traditional model which I was talking about. Okay, so typical 9 reasons why we had this traditional. I'm going back to the traditional model of shared services because of the labor arbitrage was one of the big reasons, standardization, economies of scale, span of control, faster can close. These are the reasons why we always have this kind of model which was created. But broadly, what I would like to say, traditional SSC model delivered cost efficient and they were standardized. But fundamentally, it is humanly intensive place. We still have a lot of people processing the data. Every invoice, every reconciliation, every accrual calculation which is done has to involve human and the process review and approval. So we always have this model of initiating a process and review, and then ultimately approve. So these layers of approvals till the time we approve were always there. In these layers, we are now going to talk about creating AI agents somewhere in the middle. That's where the agents will be created, not from the AP point of view, Ankur, I would say, but for various other processes. We want to build those, we are trying to build those places where we can actually come out with the agents. Have we done that 100%? No, but we are in the process of building those layers which are there. So, as we are called as AI first finance shared services or AI first company, what are the AI agents which are coming to picture? So if you look at this chart broadly, this is where it's important. It's very interesting. If you see, in a shared services, humans process and system record. Whereas now or in future, I would call it, with AI coming into picture, AI is going to process, that's the target. And humans are going to govern. What does it mean here is that the people who are just processing without involvement of any AI may not be able to stay in that job for a longer period of time. But people who are able to understand AI, they know how to govern the AI, they may stay. And then they will manage those AIs. So that's where the future is going to be. The AI agents are going to process and humans are going to govern. That's the future we are looking at from the shared service standpoint. For every process, try to use every process. So let's start with processing. Human extend everyday task. Now processing will be done by AI agents, which will be done. This is where I think high volume tasks will be done. And if you look at scale point of view, speed point of view, quality point of view, errors and close point of view, this is where the human agents will play a very critical role. I'll just pause here and see if there is any questions around that. Do you think this is practical? Do you think it is not? But frankly, this is where the future is.
I think it is inevitable.
It is inevitable. And that's where we are trying to build our teams. Our teams are very, very cautious about the fact. If you ask me, I have 80 people who are there, 60 are basically permanent. And I can tell you out of that, 80% or 60 to 70% of people know how to use AI now. Everybody knows how to do AI. 20-30% who do not know may not be in this company for in a long term. I don't know how much, but these guys may not be there. But these people who know how to run a Glean agent, how to run a prompt, they know how to prepare their agents. They are basically fine-tuning their processes. They are the people who are going to stay. This is what exactly is going to be there in the future of AI.
The one question will always come. I think in the last session also we had Gaurav, our speaker, and I think the same question I will ask you, that even though AI comes in play, and I totally agree with you, but do you think time saved because of the usage of AI, bringing more efficiency, less errors? How do you reinvest that time? How do you reinvest that time? Because ultimately, you will save some time. Ultimately, some time will be saved at that, or you will absorb that time with the more volume of work. Or there is any other plan you have
Ankur,
in mind? Yeah.
Ankur, that is a big question. But frankly, what we've realized here is over a period of time, lot of pieces, what I've seen, and that's what my judgment is, that
Mhm.
lot of pieces and lot of processes could not be started because of lack of resources. You know, now what we do here is we get a lot of time to improve our processes. So I'll give you an example here. Dashboards. Previously, we used to prepare dashboards, but less and less people used to take a look at those dashboards. Nowadays, we are making very effective dashboards, which can be used and we can very customize in a very fast manner. Those pieces can take faster decisions. Previously, that was not taken, and business decisions used to be dependent on some other teams. Let's give an example. FP&A used to be, so a lot of team members, the leadership used to depend upon FP&A to give answers, which the shared service could not do it. Okay, because the analytical work was given to the FP&A team. Now, what we are doing here is we are taking away their work and keeping it with ourselves and giving them analysis. So I'll give you an example again. I have this meeting with our CFO and a chief accounting officer, which is called balance sheet flux meetings, which we have on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis, we have where we present our numbers. A lot of times, the FP&A team used to come and present their analytical reports. From the last quarter, we are building those analytical report ourselves and giving to the CFO. Why are we doing it? Because we get more time to do it. Now, what are these FP&A going to do? They will do better job. They will do another job. So in other words, there is going to be a step improvement which is going to happen. So this is the way things are going to move up. At the end of the day, business is going to get an advantage. Business leaders are going to get advantage in moving faster. That's the way I'm looking at things. And definitely, more acquisitions which are going to happen, we are not going to hire people. More attritions are happening, we are not hiring people anymore. So we are utilizing those people. But in future, will we hire? Answer is yes. We will have definitely hire. I am a proponent. I believe that we should hire people with the right knowledge, with the knowledge of AI. So if I want to hire somebody, I would really like to see if that guy has that interest towards learning and getting inside an AI process. That's the way we're looking at things. That makes sense?
Mhm. No, I think makes sense. I think I'm clear. Yes, you're right.
I think overall,
Okay, quickly. Sorry, go ahead.
overall, if
Go
you
ahead.
look at the industry, also the competition is increasing day by day. So business demands are also increasing. So I think the finance team will be able to meet that and give a edge to the business to make a decision.
Oh yeah,
What
definitely, definitely.
eventually happen that the layers of different functions within finance also will start disappearing. Because what will happen if your team as a controllership will start picking FP&A will start picking up something else. So because everyone wants to, take their own space. So typically that dilution, that layers will go away, which I can clearly see. Because data will be more easily available because of the dashboards and whatever we call it. And one will not be restricted by the capability or the time which AI will give you. So that change is definitely happening. That's my version on what you have just said, Inderdeep.
Yeah,
Even we see
right.
that in the taxation area also across India. So lots of changes. Even the government implemented many different tools and all. So demand from the government departments also increasing. So how that can be met? So I think there will be need, but yeah, right skills are quite important.
Navit, you're right. So I think, Ankur, this is a very interesting point. If AI has been used by everyone, the government agencies are using, the companies are using, it's also increasing the load and the work and the queries are also increasing automatically. And because of which, AI plays a critical role. If we are not going to keep the pace at this point in time, and if the companies are not going to accept the AIs, they're going to be the big losers. I'm a bit surprised why Indigo is still not accepted, gone into it. But frankly, AI is something, if we ignore it, it will be a fatal element at the later stage because it's going to increase the cost.
I think just to give you clarity on Indigo, Indigo has been given access to most of the employees on Copilot, but probably the way you can penetrate AI more deeply is something I believe is a way to go, at least in my current organization. But I think, in my view, what is eventually happening, and this is a different problem we have right now, that Microsoft being in the system and having access to most of the software apps other than ERP, they have been putting a monopoly in terms of giving an AI tool. And like in Indigo, there is a lot of hesitation in giving access to Claude, in giving access to ChatGPT. We only give access to my Copilot, and Copilot has its own limitation. So probably even for an organization also, they need to be little more kind of, what should I call it? Aggressive. Aggressive may not be the right word, but pragmatic in terms of
Risk,
that. But
risk, risk
risk,
assess.
maybe I will say, but I think the problem which probably again on the like in aviation industry and all that GDPR or the data privacy rules comes in play, and most of the companies are a little nervous who deal with the direct customer data. Like in our case, we have a direct customer data of more than 12 to 15 crore packs which travel every year. So probably the lot of data is there. Company is little hesitant in terms of they're not sure whether AI will. So I'm not saying they are right or wrong. I'm just saying the perspective to the audience that this is a different problem we have, not part of this conversation. This is a different problem people have. They're not very much sure how much access to give to AI. Some are very aggressive, some are very less aggressive. But yeah, but what you said
Fine,
is
Ankur.
right.
I mean, with due respect to every company, I understand where they're coming from. A company like cybersecurity company like Norton and Gen, we we have taken a plunge of using a lot of tools. As I mentioned, we have got a number of tools, and we are actually pushing very hard. There's an element which is called AI first. We are saying that everybody has to use it. Now, why are they doing it? Because they want to make sure that everybody is tuned and we should be able to see the results out of it. In the beginning, it was like a blind race. It was like push. Nobody knew what to do. It was like everybody going in different direction. But now what you've seen here is, I will tell you, 2 months back, 3 months back, we were only doing prompting. But last 2, 3 months back, we have realized that a lot of my team members, even in shared services, are coming out with the ideas of AI agents. So what happens here is, in the beginning phases, people are only doing prompting and answering and getting the codes and making the macros. I was seeing people, but I was just seeing what these guys are doing. They are actually making nothing but a big macro instead of doing it previously in a macro format, but they are doing it by using AI. But then I realized over a period of time, these guys learned from that and moved to the next level of building the agents. Repeated tasks were moved and taken away. Now, if you don't bring the culture of this involvement and giving these toys to team, if you don't give these toys, these are toys, they have to play with them, they have to actually look and play with them. Unless and until you don't give it to them, they will not be able to come out with a solution. I've got team members who are building fabulous AI agents right now, and they are giving a lot of surprises. We have a big library of almost, I would say, 100 to 250 ideas at my level itself, which are still in the pipeline. So people are very excited in building those kind of ideas. Some are working, some are breaking, but at least those which are working, they're working very well. So, I mean, I'll give you an example. There are people who are coming with the idea of creating POs for the non-PO related invoice processing also. So that kind of model is also, which we call as internal PO. So, I mean, we have got a lot of fabulous ideas which are coming out.
Inderdeep, one question here. So it's very interesting to know 60-70% of the employees are working and the company is giving free hand. But have you witnessed any cases or any instances wherein some of the prompts go haywire and the company is required to fix responsibility now, whether the problem was with the processing of the prompt from the AI agents, or there was the incorrect instructions in the prompt given by the human users. Have you witnessed any such cases, and then the
Yeah,
company was required to fix the responsibility?
yeah. So, Mukul, I think it's a very valid point, but I think I'll divide this question into two parts. If you're saying anything which has been created is gone into the production, and then we have a responsibility fixing, if that's the question, that's a different thing. But we normally give resources access not in the production environment, but in the test environment at the current state. So what they do here is they build those cases. So what they're doing right now is they are testing only in the test environment. And then once they've come out with the idea, then they move into the production environment. We are talking about only agents, but otherwise dashboards, reportings, prompting, these things are nothing but reporting models that can go wrong, but that has to be checked and validated by their managers. But as far as the agents are concerned, we follow very strict criteria and guidelines on that case when it goes to
Oh,
the
So
production.
I think the
mhm.
question which Mukul, I think just to rephrase, I think probably, one is the reporting dashboard. Definitely human element is there to check the numbers, figures, even presenting anything to the senior leadership. But probably from a usage of agent perspective, like you are using an agent to process something, to process a invoice. I'm putting a very raw example of something. To plan to do that. In that case, have you seen any kind of error, bug happen which may have lead to some kind of a chaos? Something you have planned for that? Just to an
Ankur,
example, yeah,
still in the works. Still in the works.
okay.
We have built the
So
agents. That's a
Mukul,
very
yeah,
good
so
thing. As I said,
this is
still
yeah.
in the works. Still in the works. But this is one of the questions where we have to get a clearance from the security team. The results, we have to put that into a test environment. Human in loop has to check all the elements which are going out at this point in time from the AI point of view. But once we have in comfort, we will move into a production phase. We still not gone into any agents at my level where we have gone, but we have built a lot of agents right now. Those agents are still right now going and getting a clearance from the security teams. And we have to prepare a white paper that on what basis we have created those agents and what are the criteria we have met in making sure that does not it can go not wrong, and then the signing happens not from the functional team but from the IT team also in making sure that this is they're also comfortable with that agents.
In case of any chaos, anything wrong happens, in your white paper, you will put the name of the human or the
Yeah,
designation who will be responsible for that.
accountability has to be
Ultimately,
laid down.
yeah, it will be laid down. Yeah. So Mukul, ultimately
Accountability
that
has
will
to
come in play. Actually, ultimately, what you're asking, at the end there is a human who will be asked to own that agent.
of
So,
course,
so, so,
of
so
course.
from any compliance perspective, internal control, IFC, it will remain same. It doesn't changes. All that will bring more efficiency. Yeah.
Ankur, we cannot take a chance at this point in time unless and until, and that's where I'll come into the picture where embedded AI is much more easier. So what we realized over a period of time here is, and Mukul, I think who can he can also help me on that. What we realized here is we have built a lot of AIs and we're building a lot of automation, but when we went to the vendor, they said we've already done that. It's already embedded inside the system. So we are now figuring out, should we actually build something or should we go for an embedded approach? Embedded approach definitely comes with a cost, but do we really want that or not is another question which is there. So another example here is we have invested a lot on Blackline. Blackline has its own AI which is embedded in it. Now they come with a cost. They're saying you want to use this, you have to pay this much X amount of money. We are evaluating it. If we build out ourselves, it is going to come out with higher cost, higher security clearances. But if we can
What
use
is
theirs,
Blackline? Sorry, Indradi, what is Blackline? Blackline is an AI
no,
tool.
no. Blackline is like any other tool, financial tool, a tool which is using transaction processing. It's basically nothing but it's a reconciliation tool. Ankur,
Reconciliation.
it's a reconciliation tool. It reconciles two different pieces. Cash and bank is one of the example. It can do it. It can actually do a lot of reconciliation for e-commerce businesses where the transactions can be matched into volumes. Millions of million transactions can be matched at that level. Sorry, somebody was saying Blackline about Blackline.
No, I was just giving some use cases that it is helpful in doing three-way match. So, for example, even in assurance and audit, we use for three-way match. And as Inderdeep mentioned, it is for cash and bank reconciliation or for intercompany reconciliation.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Ankur, this is like any other tool which is used and interfaces with the Oracle. So it's a tool which is doing a lot of
And how do
reconciliation
they charge?
process.
How do they charge? They charge and what is the basis? How do the commercial work in case of Blackline? They
So
normally come with a
it's on the basis of user or it's on the basis of volumes. Both.
okay.
They have their
Got it.
own
No,
models
no.
which are there.
Understood. Let's give me clarity. Okay.
And then AI sits over and above. They charge AI separately. So it's like this tool, embedded AI is separate. They give you, if you want to take that, that's in cost, which you have to pay for that.
Interesting. I think most of the finance folks, I think what I'm realizing that cost something coming somewhere down the line. Anything we talk about. Anyways, yeah, carry on.
Buy is another element. Yeah. Okay.
I have one
Vicky,
question here. Sorry to
go
interrupt. I
ahead.
have a question here.
Go ahead.
I want to ask if whether there is a defined process of developing a new tool or AI agent, or if so, which department review or approves such requests?
Sorry, Mukesh, can you repeat your question again?
I'm saying whether there is a defined process for developing a new AI tool or agent in the company. Anyone can develop and implement it, or there is any department who review and approve the tools before implementing these in the company.
So,
Because
Mukesh,
it's associated
right
there.
now there is, as I said, we have categorized a company as an AI first company. Now, when we call it an AI first, what we do here is we give these tools to everyone. So we give it to everyone. So Copilot, Glean, ChatGPT, and obviously Claude is basically coming with a cost higher token, so that comes with an approval. But broadly, Glean and Copilot is given to everyone. So it's like everybody can do it. What we are doing here is we're telling everyone to start using those tools in their everyday life in the work which they are performing. Next level starts when anybody prepares anything and needs to be validated. It has to get the clearance from the security team, and then it becomes into the production. That goes into the production stage. But quick hits, like you have created some codes which are going to help you in automating your reports, may not require that. That the onus of that depends upon the manager who's reviewing it. Anyways, I was reviewing that report. Now that report is coming from an AI. I have to take the responsibility that if I'm clearing that report and giving the report to my leadership, that is coming from AI. Am I comfortable? I'm signing that out. That's my responsibility. But anything which goes into the production has to go from a clearance from the security team. That makes sense, Mulesh?
So no, I'm asking this question because earlier we were using the ChatGPT and Claude AI to find out a solution for a particular query, like in this situation, what I should do or what are the benchmarking for this thing.
Yeah.
Now later on, like from last I think 2-3 months, what I did, I integrated my accounting tool QuickBook with the Cloud and with the Google Drive Excel file. I'm asking just the query like what are my P&L, what are the variance, what are the benchmarking, and compare it with the industry standards. Prepare a dashboard reports. It gives me the report, automatically fetching the data from the system itself. Then I give him few commands that prepare this analysis, do some such type of analysis, and save it in the Google Drive file with the backup files. So I'm doing it, but also there is risk associated with this. So although we are like a small company, there are not much more complaints are there. So just want to ask from you, like, is it like
Is this an enterprise version which you're using, or you're using
Yes.
your outside version?
enterprise version?
So that's fine. The company is already signed for that. The ChatGPT or Copilot, whatever you're using, is basically licensed version. It makes sure the data is secured. But at the end of the day, the onus of what you're preparing is the responsibility of your manager to make sure that whatever is coming out and you're giving to the leader, because you're talking about reporting, has to be signed by your manager to make sure that they are comfortable with the numbers which are there, because it is directly interfacing with the database, correct?
So basically the output is owned by the manager. But like in the process, integration process, if some error happened or if there's some data goes out, my question was related to that risk.
But if it's an enterprise version, it should not be a problem.
The risk is not there. Okay.
No. Enterprise versions are licensed versions. They normally do not go out of the system. They are kept inside. So companies make sure that there's a contract which has been signed to make sure the data is always retained inside. Otherwise, we are also doing it. Everybody is doing it, Mulesh. We'll be out. So we cannot use the unlicensed version. Open version should be avoided. We should avoid, you can use your personal checking and all the stuff, but when it comes to your corporate stuff, you should make sure you use the enterprise version, license version for putting any data inside. Yeah. Okay, let's just quickly jump to the next part because I think I have to cover the other pieces also. This is very important, as I mentioned, with the AI first, the transaction processors become exception reviewer, processing analyst. Very important element which has to come here is that we have a new role which is going to come, is called AI controller role. AI controller role is a very important role. This role was not there previously. We had processor, analyst, approvers, all these kind of names were there. But going forward in an AI first company where will be using AI, there is a role of a AI control owner who will be responsible for the governance, audit trails, SOX compliance, AI touch process. What does it mean? That in a team of 80 people, I will actually have 2 to 3 people or maybe 4 people who will be sitting and doing the governance structure also, making sure that these governance in data integrity is maintained. Now that can be IT and finance guys mix, which can happen, but we have to have that governance structure which is to be played. So we have this new role which we call as AI control owners will come into picture. I've kept it here. If you see this, this is going to be the future, which I think coming up. Nothing finalized yet, but this is the way we are moving. And as I said, headcounts will not reduce immediately, but it'll be redeployed towards the higher value work. With the natural attrition will definitely be not there, but we will create those prompt libraries, model access, integration, output monitoring. This will be all done. Your future SLAs, if I tell you, will not be like invoice processed in 3 days. Your future SLAs will be exception resolved in 4 hours, 2 hours, 3 hours. So you will be assured next coming months or years, you will see the changes in your SLAs which are going to happen. Not from AP, everything will be changed in the future AI models which are going to be there, and particularly for the shared services. So typically data challenges, I think this is something which we have discussed. I should not take more time, but these are the challenges which I feel are going to be there. 4 typical challenges which I feel is coming out. Data quality plays a very critical role. In the case of AI first, we all have to understand data quality plays a very critical role. And R12 structure data quality is not good. Typically, you have to make sure the data quality remains on the highest level, better level, where we can actually see better results coming out. If we have vendors which are duplicate, incomplete PO references are there, the data quality can be a critical job. So these are very important to make sure your AI works better. Data quality is better. Integration complexities are very important, where we have to make sure R12, typically, I'll give you an example. R12 is a on-prem model. But if we have a cloud model, we have a better approach of using AI. But we have an on-prem model. You guys know what is on-prem, correct? These are old technology where we're using the servers in-house. And we normally use a lot of tools who sit over and above on-prem. ServiceNow, Canvas, ICO. We have these virtual traders, Blackline, name these tools which are sitting on the R12 model, which are there. So the complexities are high. AI basically takes more time in that case. Change management is again very important thing. Staff always have that kind of fear. You need to make sure that the trust element is maintained. This is again a very important element. I think you guys must be facing that. Typically in my organization, a lot of people do come to me and ask me. My answer is very simple. If you are using AI, understand AI, you are safe. But if you're not, I cannot guarantee anything in future. So that's the way the future is going to be there. The changes are coming in. We cannot leave that. Um, trust building phase is very important side by side. We have built trust is very important. We have to make sure that this is working. Third, controls and SOX are very important in this case. Every AI action touches the SOX in process and must have a complete audit trail. Who owns it? What is the data used? What is the outcome? So this is where I think controls a critical role. We have discussed that in length. But this is going to be one big reason and making sure that this new model for, controls are picked up in an effective manner.
Can I add one thing to this, Inderdeep? So
Yep.
I think Inderdeep. I believe one thing which would happen with the time is that as we rely more and more on AI, right? So people would be basically doing things in an automated way, and there might be a challenge within the organization that the knowledge has been lost in terms of how the process is done manually. So if my team is my team is using AI generated JEs all the time, then if after 1 year, if there is any challenge in terms of AI not being able to do it, would my team able to do it manually? I don't know. I just see this knowledge retention also a challenge which would happen with the time.
Yeah, this is a challenge. This is a challenge, Harsh. So this is one of the biggest challenges we are also facing. And I firmly believe that with the new, if we move out of the current process and using AI, we're using AI more and more, and tomorrow if anything breaks, who will do that job because the resources are not there trained?
Yeah.
I think one of the ways to fix that is documentation. That's the way we are looking at things. I mean, the way you go back to the older times when ERP system was not there, we used to have a very detailed SOPs which were created, correct?
Yeah.
The only thing which I believe in future is going to be there is all this knowledge needs to be documented. So that tomorrow, if anything breaks, we can go back and see these are the documentations that why we did that. That's the only way we can keep ourselves safe.
Yeah.
I think that's the only answer we have. I don't think so. We have any other controls measure which we have built right now, but this discussion is still going on. As we are discussing, nothing has been finalized. This is a point which is coming again and again. What happens if anything breaks and if we don't have that knowledge base which is there, how should we control that? I think documentation is the only way of doing that.
But I think, Hitesh, I think very relevant point because I was just thinking in my mind, it's like a situation of AI outage. Normally, we have heard of SAP outage or something. AI outage is something very interesting if it happens because that is not a normal thing. And AI we are using from multiple vendors or we are creating self-creating, even though we don't have a kind of a legacy or something to support that. So I think it will be interesting to see how do when Inderdeep you say that we will documentation, but ultimately if at a point of time AI is not available for 2 days and after 2 years we are too much dependent, asking the humans, which will be half of what they are today, assuming that AI can pick up things, probably will get very challenging. I don't have an answer. I'm just thinking, visualizing how it can change the game again. Because typically, when an SAP outage happens, anything happens in SAP or Oracle to say, then finance team are typically asked to work manually day and night and to solve that issue. They don't care, that happens. But probably in AI case, I don't think so. You have a choice. So let's see how.
That's where Ankur, that's what we are saying. The future is with the people. So, we are chartered accountants. But what I'm saying here is people have to now start getting into the IT knowledge also. the knowledge of IT and accounting will play a critical role together. So future is, which I feel here is that people have to learn both the things together. And knowledge will play a very critical role. I mean, that's the way I'm looking at things. It's no more that I am a finance guy, I only do these kind of fixed things and I will go out. No, I have to understand how it works, how the system behaves. This is where I think the expectation is building right now. Unfortunately, this is what the industry is expecting from teams, that you should know how to fix if anything breaks also. Something which I don't know, but yeah, food for thought for future.
And I
Can I
think
ask
one
a
more thing which is there, sorry, just a running thought and probably anyone, but I'm also observing now that while an ERP, even a cloud ERP or something, the way they charge, unless and Alok can correct me, that the way they charge, it's a typical licensing model where you are paid per license and then some kind of a percentage or per user per month. But typically in an AI, you are paying based on the token usage, which is highly variable, but highly unpredicted how you may end up using it. So that kind of predictability is missing in AI in terms of the cost. While in case of an ERP, with provide an embedded ERP, you have the predictability that that much money will go everywhere. Although there is a downside to it, the cost is fixed in AI, cost is variable. But that's I feel. And any thoughts on that, anyone? Because this is something I feel will become a challenge.
I think Ankur, Alok here. So I think, see, especially even from a OEM perspective, I think this is a kind of a learning curve for us also, right? I mean, the way uh, when you talk to an agent, it is more of a conversation. That is where the agents are, and you see that internally, every agent is either using a chat GPT or Claude or any of these particular models to provide that kind of a conversation. So typically, obviously, there is also an agreement between these providers and the OEMs itself, and that is where they are also charging based on this kind of a AI units or based on the tokens which you name it. So I think I agree. I mean, that's the same thing every customer even asks us also, that how do I measure or how do I put a certain criteria in terms of how much AI units it I will be consuming. So I think not a clear answer from any of the OEMs either that you will find. But I think it's a journey that everybody is taking. And slowly, I think we should be able to, quantify this also based on the pattern, the way you're using it.
Ali, but how you are doing currently? Because this is very interesting. I haven't even thought of it. That typically, if I'm using a SAP cloud model today, and wherein in the cloud you are providing your own AI, embedded AI, which in turn is using some other LLM like ChatGPT or XYZ,
Correct.
just randomly. So to the client, you will charge a fixed fee, or you will also charge the token value also to the client. You will charge both.
We charge a token value.
Ah, okay, okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Now it is interesting. Okay.
So, I mean,
Understood.
how do you charge a token? I mean, see, everybody has its own way of putting a thing. In SAP, we call it as AI units, but the measurement is nothing but the number of tokens
No, I
internally.
got it.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I think I understood now. Now I'm. That's why you're saying it's a journey. Now I understood.
it is a journey. Yeah, absolutely.
Nobody has an answer, Ankur. We don't have an answer right now. It's a journey where we are trying to explore and figure out what's best for us. At this point in time, tomorrow it can be that a lot of AI agents we have built. I can give an example here is we have built, and when we realize that we go with a ask for a application and there's an embedded AI which is coming, that agent is much more cheaper and faster and better than one we have built, and we have to forego that part. That can also be there, and that can be a lost time. But we're not doing that. We're still building those AIs also, and then we are seeing that. So I mean, this is a journey. I don't know, or maybe we have a better, cheaper version we have, and AI embedded is not required. They're charging more money from us. They're charging more money from the token standpoint? I don't know, or I don't need those kind of features. But nowadays, what I'm seeing here is we're getting hold of this tool by the name called Zip. That tool has been a little costly. That is basically source to contract tool, which we have bought in our company. They are giving almost like 200 to 300 AI agents to us free. Now you can build those as per your customized approach in this cost. Now, will that renewal will happen? We have done the renewal for 2 years at least. After that, it may go up and down. I don't know. It's a journey. And that's an embedded cost.
So, Inderdeep, on this slide, I think if you can talk through the hallucination risk first, because this is something to me is very scary. This is something I find it even in my journey, and it's very scary even for a CFO on this call or anyone who is heading any finance and all.
It's a very valid point. Very valid point. So
This is very scary.
hallucination risk and accuracy risk is always there. So I mean, these LLM models can hallucinate and they can give you incorrect output. In that case, the rule is very simple. AI output in finance should never be a final without human review for the SOX relevant and SEC reporting or payment record. So all these kind of very critical processes which are used, we need to make sure that the human in loop is put into picture. Now, I was reading somewhere, there is a thing called RAG. It's called retrieval or augmented generation. I don't know whether anybody has heard about that. Alok, have you heard about that?
Yeah, that's RAG. Yeah.
RAG. So you want to
RAG
talk
is
about
red,
that
amber, green.
quickly?
Is it red, amber, green? I heard of. This is something
That's
different.
that's what I was thinking. Red, amber, green.
Yeah, I only heard the red, amber, green. I
No,
don't
it's
know
not
the
RAG.
other
It's
RAG.
something
There's a
else.
lot
RAG.
of terminologies which has come up in this AI. AI has its own lot of
So what is
synonyms
this in the
on.
what is
So
this in the
basically, it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it is more about the way you train them, and then there are a lot of like you have like some nowadays there's a lot of document ingesters which are also coming. So it is more about that how you have to ingest a document and then quickly take out the information what you're looking forward to. So there are some lot of RAG models, regression, and these which are coming in.
So
Any
yeah, you're
example?
right. So
Any example? I think I'm sorry. I'm still
go ahead.
I'm thinking lot of vocabulary. Sorry.
Sorry, and I also did not
Any,
understand the meaning of RAG. Please, Alok, if you could talk about that.
yeah,
I
this is
will
interesting.
probably, otherwise it will take some time. So maybe I
Okay.
think we will ask him to finish, but I think maybe in the later I will just probably let you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
and
in
then
the
you first
simple
complete.
terms,
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
simple terms, RAG is an approach, and sorry, I put you on the spot. I don't ever want to do that. This is something which was very interesting, and I was reading about this also, is a method in which the retrieval mechanism is standardized. In other words, what we're trying to say here is every time when you tell, there are a lot of chances that when you give an agent a critical job, it may give you an output can be different than the output which he has given before. Now, in order to make sure that output does not change, it is standardized, it does not change. This RAG concept has been brought into picture. So all the AI outputs right now have to go through this rigor. So that's the new terminology which is coming out for a very critical processes. This RAG thing is where I think the focus is right now. I don't know much. I'm just reading and discussing about this. But frankly, this hallucination risk is one which can be eliminated by way of these models which are now been built. This is one of the models. There can be 10 more models, 100 more models which are coming out. But the broad thing here is the output should not change and should not be different from the last output which I gave, is where this model has been built. Correct? Hello. Am I correct in saying somewhere?
Yeah, I think, see, typically, I think it is like, sometimes and in our organization, we have like a lot of policies that we give. So when you're giving any query to figure out something, internally the agents do a lot of, the document retrieval, the ingestion is going to happen. He has to read through all that PDF. And then see, typically there is kind of a vector database. It will go into very technicalities. And then on that, he will try to search what you are exactly, what your prompts are. Basis of those prompts, they do a kind of a vector search. And then they give it to LLM, and then that's where they want to ensure that your there is no hallucination. It actually reduces a lot of hallucination. That is where is the RAG, more precise answer out of these kind of a documentations and everything out of your policies and all those. That is where is the RAG which comes. So basically, it is like retrieval augmented generation.
Yeah, open-ended prompting.
Yeah.
Good. If you go for an open-ended prompting, just keep on prompting something. Today, you'll give a result. And tomorrow, if you come again, prompt the same thing in a different manner, it'll give you a different result. That is where a problem lies. And this is, I think, eliminating that part.
Yeah, understood. Now I think it's clear. I think now I'm clear that whatever the prompt you put, if the context is same, it should give the same output every time. I
Should.
think
But
that's
then
something.
you don't know. That's where I think this model is coming. Now these models are coming out to make sure that output remains standardized. So this is something which is still very new for me.
I thought the life after AI will be much more simpler, but I think other way now after this call today.
It has its own complexities, Ankur. It has a lot of complexities.
I thought we will actually be, what Elon Musk has said, the work will be optional, no need to work. I'm not saying that is happening because there are new terms, new work is happening every day. Unfortunately or fortunately, we all will have work to do.
That's where I think, Ankur, I believe that's what I said. This AI models, we have to learn. We have to move on to the next level of understanding and learning. Okay, let's move forward quickly. Token cost, I mean, is also one of the element which is a challenge which is there as we have discussed. And then this token cost maybe is always on the basis of per seat. In our case, it's on the basis of per seat, to be honest with you, which is in the case of Copilot. LLMs are on the basis of tokens. So broadly, everything has its own cost coming to us at this point in time. I'll just quickly jump to another part, builders buy. I know we are short of time. I'm just going to be quick because we've discussed most of the pieces.
That's fine, Inderdeep, but no stress. We have 15 minutes, so we will use it because we are all interacting now. So maybe we will keep 10 minutes for you and 5 minutes for any questions now. I think that's how.
Okay.
I think that it will work for all of us. Yeah, over to you.
So anybody has any questions? If you have 15 minutes, then I can actually keep myself here and ask any questions before I move to the next slide.
Actually, I have two questions, Inderdeep. So one, in fact, it's not a question just for you, Inderdeep, it's for everyone's. We all have heard about Chinese AI models, AI LLMs, which I think are much cheaper. So has any company considered using them? Because mostly companies are using US models rather than, I've not seen anyone considering Chinese models.
That's a good question. I have not even thought.
I will do research first.
Company will not even think about it.
I have to do a research.
Okay.
This is something I think you had a very relevant point. They would be cheaper, like China always is. But
there is this model GLM 5.2. I'm using it these days, and so we all have heard about this Fable 5 model from Anthropic, which is really good. And GLM 5.2 is free, obviously up to a certain limit. But thing is, to access Fable 5, you have to pay. But GLM is free, and it is said to be as good as Fable. And in my limited usage, I have not found any
and what is their commercials, Harsh? How much GLM 5.2 charge per month?
I use it from a personal perspective, Ankur. I'm not
Yeah.
even.
I'm saying for personal only. Just comparing with Claude. Anything like 10, Claude is.
I've not hit a limit so far, so
Okay.
I've not even checked their pricing, Ankur.
And it is easily available. GLM 5, GLM is easily available.
Z.ai, that's where GLM 5.2 sits.
Okay.
I'm a bit surprised these models are right now available in the open market. I mean, Chinese, I didn't know that. I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't explore.
No, I think the DeepSeek was also there, right? If
Oh
I'm
yeah,
not
DeepSeek
wrong.
is there.
Yeah.
One more question, Inderdeep. You talked about your team was earlier producing macros and now they're producing AI agents. So these AI agents, they are using Copilot, or what platform are they using to make AI agents? Because
So,
sorry,
so Glean and Copilots are typically chats. They're just prompt. Inside the engine, typically they are using I would say ChatGPT or Anthropic models which are there. Cloud models are used for that purposes. So we are focusing more on Glean because
okay.
Glean and Copilots typically are cheaper. In our case, we are paying very less amount when it comes to these licenses are concerned. We're promoting more Glean and Copilots which are there.
Okay.
And co-pilots have come in a better way when it comes to corporate billing concerned is concerned. They're deep. They're quite giving us a better deals in that way. You know.
Understood. And are you like using any AI agent which is like, not limiting itself just to a particular software, but going to a person's, I don't know, LAN and then opening up a file, doing something, closing it? Because these kind of uses where Claude Cowork can work for us, but we have not allowed basically Claude Cowork for Teams because we just seem it as too risky. So just curious if you have allowed these kind of agents which can access LAN and access folders.
No. So everybody, that's a very good question from the control and security standpoint. So suppose I have an access of the database which will be used in my case will be all my data which is there in my system, on my OneDrive, and my emails, and the securities which are given from the accesses which I have on the different applications which I have. So that's where the access will be. Um, I mean, that's given to other people also. We cannot go beyond that. That's one very critical element which has been laid down before giving these accesses to everyone. Now, exceptions can always be given to people who are, let's take an AP team, which has been processing the accounts payable process. They have access to the databases which are there. So they can build, they have a larger pool to access and play and come out with the models, and then they implement that. But people who are going to use will have their own security system which are there. That's how it works.
Thank you.
Okay, good. Coming back to tokens, hallucination, governance policy, I think policies are very important role. Again, who owns the AI in the finance, the policies have to be. I don't know, a lot of companies have still not been able to come out with the policies right now. So we are now going to be focusing on the policy element. This is another piece which is right now behind, but the policies are shaping up. And as we see the pieces coming into production, you will see in case of either embedded AIs or even in the case of in-house made AIs, these policies will come into picture. How it's going to be there, no, but the policies will play a very critical role going forward. Okay, now build versus buy. Let's talk about these four typical categories in the build versus buy. Too extreme, if you see, is a pure buy and never built, or I would say complete build kind of a thing, full build kind of thing. And in between are the ones which are both. So if you see the pure buy element is use the vendor embedded AI. Like in the case of Blackline, we have variety. ServiceNow has now assist. Even Oracle has their own feature. Every tool has its own AI, which is pure buy. And then we have configured to use. This is typically the ones where we use the Copilot Studio agents, which are configured without custom codes, without much custom codes. Alok, do you want to talk about that quickly? Because I would need your help in this case. And the third part is an extended version, which we call it as extended and integrate. Build custom AIs with respect to all these open AIs and Anthropic on the top of an existing tool, which is what we are doing right now. The third, the Amber one. And the fourth is the full build. Train and build your own model. This is what we call it as your own build model to extreme, which is there.
So you are going for a hybrid model in the, if I understood.
Right now, hybrid model because as I said, somebody mentioned we have a Oracle R12 ERP, Ankur, which is not on cloud, right? And we have a limitation that we cannot get too much of AI support from the Oracle team itself because we are not in the cloud. And then we have different tools which are sitting on over and above these ERP. And then we are using, this AI to make sure, can these AI create over and above these tools can create more synergies for us. As simple as that. So
What is
these
the difference between configure and extend? Like pure by configure and extend, what is the difference between two? Configure and extend means like
configure is my understanding here is that configure is typically the one where we have these tools by the name called Copilot Studio and configure prompt agents without custom code. That they're coming out with their own models without lot of changes which are there. So we normally don't use this, but these are tools which are coming out with their own elements where a lot of changes, we don't do a lot of changes in
understood.
that. Whereas in the case
Pure
of
by
extend,
will be same. Then that is
sorry,
pure by also will be same. Pure buy is also the same thing, no? Because in pure buy also you will just buy the
pure
Copilot
buy is
Studio.
no. Pure buy is a very different thing, Ankur. Pure buy is a model where we buy Blackline as a tool, and Variety is also one of their AI tool which you're buying per seat or by way. The token element goes away by way of the pricing can be defined on the basis of how you want to do it.
Ah, okay. Achha, you are mixing with the pricing also. Understood.
Pricing
Now
is
clear.
very important. This is pricing.
Yeah.
It's all pricing because the pricing, the pure buy and built is there.
So I think, Ankur, I mean, for everyone, I think typically the pure buy is something which an OEMs or anybody is providing out of a box.
Yeah.
So there is a specific way and, in which you have to converse and do. But then if you have to extend that conversation and probably do a little bit tweaking in those models also, whatever is provided out of box, then typically what every OEM is giving is a platform on which those agents are being developed, which they open it up for you in terms of like configure or you can extend. I mean, in both these categories, where you can then slightly modify also an agent. Now,
Oh,
modification of an agent or copying an existing agent and then changing a bit of it, that is where somewhere a configure will come and it will, but then there is a charge because you have modified, probably like, for example, you have some PO that you have asked the status for. But then, it only gives you the status of the PO. But you would like to know, for example, if it is in a workflow, to whom it is and who is the next person in that workflow, right? Just hypothetically, I'm giving an example. But that is not being given out of a box in a pure buy. So what you do is you actually slightly go ahead and copy that agent. It gives you, but that agent comes with a platform. So you are then getting into a platform where the same agent is being built, but then you are modifying that with some configuration in terms of refer to that table or where that information from which he has to pull up.
okay. I
Yeah.
think clear. Thank you. Yeah,
So
the
heavy lifting, Ankur, heavy lifting is all done by the application itself, the tool itself, by creating those AIs. You can do some changing or tweaking which can happen, but broadly, these agents are coming with the tool itself. That's called embedded, more of an embedded
I
tool.
think Inderdeep, since positive time now we are 7:54. So let's take a pause and ask audience any questions. Just want to make sure we want to run the show on time. So if anyone has any question from Inderdeep or anyone among us cohort, please ask first. I know there's been a lot of engagement happened today. And a lot of questions are coming, and that's why we dragged this session a little longer. Because I want.
I think we have been
Sorry.
asking questions as we were going along, Ankur. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't have
So I just
any more
want to make
questions.
sure
Yeah.
that because it should not eventually happen, because I can say
No,
Inderdeep is quite
no,
excited while explaining to us. Yeah.
Uh, I am actually trying to learn from each other. I mean, this is a more interactive session, to be honest with you. This is more my experience by way of what we are doing in Gen right now. But frankly, I am also learning and as we're moving ahead. But broadly, this is still something is very unknown right now. So, but this is a test. I mean, right now where we are right now. So pure buy is one concept. Configure. Alok, do you have any understanding on configure also? I mean, this piece which has been even also I'm hearing it first time when I was evaluating this. But extended is very common and build is a very common thing. What is the configure? Do you have any idea on that?
Yeah, so typically, what happens in your pure buy, whatever is your seeded agents which are coming, they work in a specific manner. But in a configure is something where, see, typically, like in the ERPs, what I have seen, that when you are having an ERP, you actually configure it as per your business process. Correct. So now, basis of that, if you have to make a change, what a normal agent is doing, uh, typically there are two ways. Either you have to write a code, like for example, I have to get some information from a third-party system. Then I will use a extend to create an API integration. But then if I have to do slight change in an existing model, then I will do a configuration, because it also gives you in the platform a capability to not write a code, but just do a drag and drop, and that's it. And then you can slightly, get more better results at what you're looking forward to as per your organization process. Maybe I don't have any specific example, but probably maybe in the next session or somewhere I will probably come with that to give you a difference between the pure and the configure.
Yeah. This is something very interesting which is coming out.
And
So
and I think next week, just Inderdeep, if you would like to join, or for that for everyone, I have put up a WhatsApp also that next week the session is on Saturday, because we will have a speaker who is based out of US, so probably his morning and our evening. So, and this gentleman will more talk about, like you talk about the controls, you talked about what is happening in the, how do we manage that in terms of the governance particularly, and how do the finance organization will look like in the future. That gentleman will talk about that. He's very active in the, at least in the US space. I know him personally. So if that interests you, if you feel like,
yeah, of
and you
course.
don't have much plans for Saturday evening, you can join, because it will be 7:30 to 9:30 India time on a Saturday. But I thought that's important. We have only 2 minutes left, so probably that will be interesting in the deep. So you can also keep in mind, 7:30. So same link will work in the deep for you, 7:30 to 9:30 on a Saturday, next Saturday.
Ankur, I think my internet got frozen. Is
No,
it
no
okay?
problem, Inderdeep. I will fill you in. So, guys,
That's okay.
last 1 minute. I'm sorry. I know, because of Sunday evening, people have to take dinner. People have to do many stuff before they start their next week. So I'm very conscious of time. I think Inderdeep, thanks. You have given a very wonderful session. At least I got a lot of clarity. And Alok, you have been keep on pitching. Thank you for that again. That was actually helpful.
Yeah,
But I
that's
think
okay.
what I'm realizing, that there are a lot of pieces which are there, which we are not even thinking. Like one of the things which came up, AI controller, which is something a new term for me, and maybe AI outage, which is something Harsh you brought in. AI outage, something I've never thought of in that way. So lot of new things are now evolving, and unfortunately, life will not be easy, as I said earlier, as what envisaged after AI. So I just thought leave it here. We can extend for a minute if required, but unless and until if nobody has question, we will drop.
I think just thank you, Inderdeep, and everyone. It was really, really good. Again, a very no, lot to learn in the session. So thanks for that.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ankur and the team, for this opportunity. I learned a lot myself also and look forward.
Thank you. Thank you,
Yeah,
everyone.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Nice
you,
having you.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah,
Thank you.
enjoy the FIFA World Cup
Ah,
final.
I just forget that. Thank you. Bye bye.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye.